F1 Manager 24 grid changes every race for the 2024 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 10 of this first season of F1 Manager 24. This is the grid for the race. Carlos Sainz back at Williams, George Russell at Haas, Lewis Hamilton at Sauber, Fernando Alonso back at Aston Martin again, Lando Norris at Mercedes, Max Verstappen at McLaren, Kevin Magnussen at Alpine, Pierre Gasly at Red Bull, Esteban Ocon at Alpine, Oscar Piastri at Williams, Alexander Albon at RB, Daniel Ricciardo at Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda at Ferrari, Valtteri Bottas at Ferrari, Lance Stroll at Sauber, Nico Hulkenberg at Haas, Sergio Perez at Aston Martin, Charles Leclerc at RB, Zhou Guanyu at Mercedes, and Logan Sargent at the bottom of the grid in McLaren. So that is the grid for this next race at Azerbaijan. We have a regulation vote for the cost cap. Do we want to change the cost cap, put the cost cap as a little bit lower? I vote for this, but in the end it actually doesn't go through, unfortunately, because the bigger teams want to spend more money. We're also going to propose a contract to George Russell because we need to get, every other team has chosen drivers for next season. Whether we actually go with them or not, we'll have to wait and see for the first round. But at Williams, I feel like I have to also, just to make it fair, I have to also get drivers on contracts for the next season. So we try and get George Russell and Liam Lawson. We're then going to also try and have I think it was Zach O'Sullivan as our affiliate driver continuing. Sporting director of Marco Pironi has finally accepted his proposal, so we have him for next season. George Russell comes back with a counter offer, so we're going to change it a little bit and send him back another counter offer. Same goes with Liam Lawson. He wants more money and everything, so we're going to slightly tweak it and send that back to him. And here we go. We have our drivers ready to go. Carlos Sainz, we're going for 15th or higher. That should be good enough. And for Oscar Piastri, 16th or higher, 316,000. That's actually more money that we can get for those now. We were only getting like 250 before, so let's see how that goes. Looking at R&D, and we haven't had upgrades come through for a little while now. We're trying to save some money because, yeah, we're a little low on money the last couple of rounds. Haas do have a little bit of an upgrade coming through to this weekend, so they move a bit further ahead of us. Sauber also actually jumping way up close to Alpine as well, so things getting close. Unfortunately, we just don't have the money at the moment to spend on upgrades because, yeah, we have spent quite a bit of money over the last 8 or 9 rounds. Q1, and as we can see here, Carlos Sainz going around purple through the first sector on this lap. He's going very well here, although he is, I believe, the first or second driver. I think he might be the second driver out, the other one in front being a Sauber. Daniel Ricciardo goes quickest in Q1, good for him in the Red Bull. And both of our drivers get through. As you can see, Oscar Piastri has a little thing next to his name for a grid penalty. I don't know why he's got a grid penalty, because I haven't put any... I mean, I put new ERSs on both cars, but I did that before practice. And I did that on both cars, so if that was what it was, Sainz should have a penalty. Whether Piastri has an overlaying penalty from the last race that I just can't think of, maybe that's what it is. I don't really know, but yeah, apparently he's got a grid penalty. As we now in Q2, Piastri actually had the best lap out of the first runs in P7 there, but in the end he does get knocked out of Q2. Sainz goes quicker and he goes P10, so Carlos Sainz has made it through to Q3. Piastri just misses out there in P11, and we'll have to see what this grid penalty is because that will push him further down the order. And then we get into the Q3 lap, the fast lap for Carlos Sainz, currently sitting P9 after the first flying lap, just ahead of Logan Sargent in that McLaren, who, yeah, is not doing amazing. He is at the bottom of the championship. Of course, he was with us in McLaren last race, and unless he scores some good points here this time, he's probably going to be back with us again next round. But he's in a McLaren, so he should have a fairly decent chance of scoring some points. But at the moment, yeah, he's P10 out of 10 in Q3. But then he does go quicker up to P8, so it is a better lap time. He's still about 3/10 off Verstappen in the other McLaren, but he does go a little bit quicker at least there. So now we're sitting P10. We're green through Sector 1 though. Sainz is green through Sector 1, so he is doing better on this second flying lap in Q3. Brand new set of soft tires on for him. So, you know, got the most opportunity we can here to get a good lap out of Sainz. I mean, just getting into Q3 as it is very good from him. But we'll see, can we get any higher? I mean, Russell's up there in P8 in the Haas. He is our main rival here. We do go yellow through Sector 2, though, so it's not the best second sector as Ricciardo goes to the top ahead of the two Red Bull Ferraris. And Leclerc's in P4 there in the RB, doing a great job. He's really got some good pace in that RB, but Sainz now has to try and make up a bit of time on this final straight here. He's got slipstream off one of, I believe that is Verstappen, up ahead as we go to cross the line, and we cross the line, we improve, but it's not quick enough to displace Sargent just behind him, but it's P10 for Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly ends up going quicker than Ricciardo in the end, so he's on pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It is a Red Bull 1-2 and a Ferrari 3-4, and then Charles Leclerc there in P5 in the RB. Great qualifying for him in that car. And yeah, Russell in P8, good result from him in the Haas.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway.
Baku has been the scene for some major on-track battles, like Vettel and Hamilton fighting for the lead back in 2017. Will we see more drama this year, I wonder?
Drivers will be battling it out on the streets of the Baku city circuit, a real contradiction of a track. From the long main straight, where the less drag the better, to the tight turns where downforce is a necessity. Teams are going to have to work hard to get that balance right. Welcome to race day, and before we get down to it, last-minute checks are being made.
Right, so there we have it. Oscar Piastri, 14th. He has a 3-place grid penalty. So, like I said, I'm not 100% sure what that is for. Maybe he had an incident in the last race that's given him a grid penalty, but he is in 14th now. And this is the race preparation, the strategy. Sainz were going on a 2-stop, a bit more aggressive, and Piastri on a 1-stop. So that's what we're going for. We'll see how it goes for us, for both drivers. What can we do? Can we get Sainz in the points?
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. Here's a determined Sainz lining up on the grid.
Starting P10 puts them in the right place to get some points, but there's still a lot to do.
But there's no more time left. We've got a race on our hands. Here we go, with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
We're underway here in Baku. Sainz in P10. Good start from him. He's actually already alongside Sargent going into turn 1. Just looking at the tyres there. Sainz, we're on the medium. Piastri's on the softs. Most other drivers are also on the softs, but there is a couple on the hards, and I believe maybe a couple of others on the medium, but it is mostly soft tyres for everybody else, with a splattering of hards really in there. So whether we've done the right thing with Sainz here on the mediums, I don't know, but we're just going to try and go aggressive with him on this 2-stop and see what we can do. And he's managed to get ahead of Sargent, so that is pretty big. Piastri's also now side by side, but he's side by side with Hamilton. He's actually lost 2 positions here already, down to P16, or battling Hamilton for that P16. He's lost position to Hamilton and to Alonso as well, so after a grid penalty puts him to P14, he's now down to P16, and he has to slot in behind Hamilton. So not a great start for Piastri, but a good start for Sainz up into 9th. At the front, and Valtteri Bottas got the best start. He's leading the way in the Ferrari, but Pierre Gasly is going to come back into the next corner, into, I believe, turn 3, and these guys are going to go side by side, Red Bull versus Ferrari. That could be the battle here today, as everybody else, I think, is a bit further back already on lap number 2. These guys pulling a little bit of a gap from the cars behind of Leclerc and Verstappen, but it is Bottas versus Gasly for the lead at this current point in time. Bottas putting up a good fight after leading at the start, but Gasly trying to come back a little bit crazy through the next set of corners, but Bottas manages to eventually defend the position and will stay in the lead for now, as now Sainz is actually back under fire from Sargent again, proving a little bit difficult to stay with the cars ahead, but he does manage to defend at that point in time. But I think Sargent will get past. Piastri now just trying to see what we can do here, because yeah, we're not in the best position, but I'm telling Piastri to absolutely just go for it, make up the position. So he goes for a late dive into turn 3. Great move there from Oscar Piastri, back ahead of Lewis Hamilton. That is good. Sainz gets overtaken by Sargent, as well as a yellow flag as Gasly and Bottas are about to fight once again. Gasly got back ahead, but now Bottas coming back at him into turn 1. There we go. There's a spin for Kevin Magnussen here. Let's have a look at that. Magnussen in P20 right at the back in the Alpine, and just hits the curb, spins the car around, doesn't hit anything, but that's pretty unfortunate for him. Now Sainz having to go back at Sargent again. This is becoming a little bit of a back and forth here, because we are too far back, 3 seconds back from Perez, the next car ahead, so no DRS for whichever car's ahead. But Sainz and Sargent really kind of fighting tooth and nail here. This is just, I think, showing, one, how good Sainz is. Let's remember, Sainz is first in the championship by a considerable margin at this point, and also how poor Sargent is, you know, being this far back in a McLaren. Alexander Albon now manages to get past Piastri. Not quite what I wanted, but that RB is a pretty good car. It's good on paper, and Leclerc, as we've seen, is doing a very good job. Albon didn't have a very good qualifying, but he's now gotten himself past Piastri. Is now once again Sargent past Sainz. These guys just kind of going back and forth, and Piastri's on the side of the road, safety cars deployed. I think he's got damage. What has happened there for Piastri? And we've got to open our pit thing, and we don't have any front wings. He's got major front wing damage, but no front wings. I didn't think to actually buy more front wings. I was trying to save money. I thought maybe we could just put an older version of the front wing on. He just locks up and goes straight into the back of Albon, pushes him off the track, and Piastri is now out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. What a terrible start so early on in this race, and one of our drivers is already out. And with a bunch of other drivers coming into the pits, Sainz is now in second place because we don't come into the pits yet. Sargent leads the way, but Sainz is in second on these medium compound tyres, and we're going to see if we can get the jump. It will not get the jump, but if we can get Sargent early on here. He goes for it down the main straight, but of course there's a very long straight here at Baku, and as we go into turn 1, Sainz is already looking to the inside of Sargent. He may be going for a move. He is going for a move up the inside, and now as he goes down to down to turn 2, Sainz is still there on the inside. Sargent's trying to stay on the outside, but Sainz will get ahead, and Carlos Sainz in the Williams now leads the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. What a great start that is for us. I know it's kind of out of sequence here because Gasly back have pretty much all pitted onto another set of tyres, but it's really only, well, I think out of everyone actually, it's only me and Sargent that haven't pitted. But I just didn't think it was worth pitting, so I stayed out. So we lead the race for that one lap. Gasly's going to pretty quickly come past though, and dispense of us into turn 3, and he will get past. Now Bottas as well, currently behind Sainz and Sargent. He's going to go up the inside into turn 1. He might be trying to get 2 positions in one corner here. He's past Sargent. He's alongside Sainz now, and they go down to turn 2, and he will get ahead. And I, after a couple of laps, sat behind those guys, kind of just getting swallowed up and losing time. I thought, let's make an earlier pit stop onto the hard compound tyres. I'm not changing my strategy. We're still going medium, hard, soft. We're going to still try that, but we can push even more now on these tyres. Now we have a look at Bottas, still trying to go for a move on, I believe that's actually Ricciardo in second place, and has a little bit of contact with Ricciardo. Don't think there's any damage there, he looks fine. But, you know, the game's making a fairly big deal out of it. This whole thing here with Ferrari, like, oh no, what's going on? I don't think there was any damage there. So I think Bottas is fine. I think Ricciardo is too, but it is now a Red Bull 1-2, and Gasly's starting to kind of go off in the front a little bit. But Bottas has some speed here, and he now goes up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo into turn 1 to get back up into second place. But I think it's going to be difficult for him to catch up to Gasly now, because as Ricciardo's already looking up the inside into turn 2, we now head down the next straight down to turn 3, and now Ricciardo has the DRS and he's on the inside going down to turn 3, and he's going to get ahead easily with the DRS. And I think also maybe with Bottas using a bit too much battery, it's an easy move for Ricciardo, but they're going to keep going back and forth. Sainz, of course, was in last position after that pit stop, but now he's caught up to the back of Magnussen and is going to make pretty light, easy work of the Alpine, sorry, and he gets past. Next up is Lance Stroll in the Sauber. Another big dive up the inside, very nice move there. Stroll leaves quite a bit of space, but Sainz makes the move, so now he's on a charge. We're just pushing on these hard compound tyres. Verstappen and Leclerc having a great fight here. Leclerc's doing an amazing job in P5, but he does have Verstappen all over the back of him, now alongside him and now just ahead of him as Verstappen gets past. But Leclerc's going to dive back up the inside into the next corner. Leclerc's not giving this one up. Great little battle between these two, who of course fought for the championship in 2022, but this time it's Leclerc in an RB, Verstappen in a McLaren, and Leclerc's actually managed to come back at Verstappen here. They're going to go side by side through the next corner, very argy-bargy through there, but then Verstappen gets the better run. Are they going to go side by side up through here? Yes, they are, through the castle section, side by side. You would not see that in real life, let me tell you that. But Leclerc is going to stay ahead and keep the position for now, so great racing from both of those two. Now the two Red Bulls are side by side on track. Gasly in the lead at the moment, but Ricciardo's got some good pace and he's going up the inside of his teammate to take the lead of this race. Daniel Ricciardo yet to stand on a podium, I'm pretty sure, this season. Definitely yet to have a win. The top 5 drivers, or was top 5 until Verstappen slotted in there, yet to win a race. So we are looking quite likely to have a new race winner here in Baku. Sainz this time gets past Ocon. He is making fairly light work. And then a couple of laps later, it's the other Sauber of Lewis Hamilton that he's going to get past. Bit of an easier move than on Hamilton's teammate this time. And he's now up into P14. So Sainz making good work of these hard compound tyres. The battle at the front is just continually raging on. It's now kind of a 2x2 with the two Red Bulls and the two Ferraris. And as we look at the two Ferraris, Tsunoda's now caught up to the back of Bottas and is going for a move. We haven't really seen Tsunoda a whole lot. He's been quite a bit further back than the others, but Bottas has seemingly lost a bit of pace here, and Tsunoda's now caught him and got past him, so that puts him up into P3 into a podium position. This is still not over yet, but it's definitely Red Bull versus Ferrari. Sainz now, we're going to bring him in for his final pit stop onto a set of soft compound tyres that we can just go absolutely crazy with. We're going to get out ahead of Ocon, which was pretty big. I think we got up to like P11 maybe, and now we're down to P15, but on fresh soft tyres we can try and make some moves. Now at the front once again, Ricciardo getting back past Gasly, and now Bottas is back up into P3 again. Tsunoda's fallen back massively, and it is now back to a top 3 fight again between the two Red Bulls and Bottas, and it's Ricciardo who is leading at the moment on lap 36 of 51. Sainz now trying to make moves on people. Nico Hülkenberg somehow managed to get past Sainz just after the pit stop phase, but now Sainz gets back past him again, and we make sure he pushes on to make a gap between him and Hülkenberg, and he gets that done. Next up is Zhou Guanyu in the Mercedes, letting him deploy as much as he can down this next straight, down to turn 3, to go up the inside of Zhou, where we want to get further as far ahead as we can, mainly because George Russell is currently sitting P10 in that Haas. Haas are our main championship rivals in this season. If they score a point, they will be level on points with us. We are a point ahead of them at the moment, so we really don't want Russell. I mean, I think we'd still be ahead on countback because we have a better singular position, I think. But we want to make a move if we can, and sure enough, on lap 48 of 51, Sainz goes up the inside of Russell. We pushed as hard as we could to catch up to him, and he gets past George Russell. And now we're just going to try and on the next straight, I think, deploy some more ERS because we've got quite a lot to use, and just try and get as far away from Russell as we can. We want him out of DRS range. He's got DRS here, of course. He's going to the inside. We try and defend a little bit for Sainz, but Russell's going to have a look up the inside of turn 3, but Sainz keeps it around the outside and stays ahead, and we will push out a gap of over 2 seconds to Russell to try and keep this P10 and score another point for Williams with Sainz. This would be good for us to score a point here, that is for sure, after the disappointment of last round. Onto the final lap, and Ricciardo overtakes Bottas down the front straight.
Ricciardo beats out the competition to claim first place.
What an amazing finish to a thrilling race. It's a real testament to their skill and the team's engineering.
And in the end, it will be Daniel Ricciardo who wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Red Bull. He gaps Bottas by 2 seconds in the end. But for us at Williams, it's P10 for Carlos Sainz. What a great result that is. Awesome singular, one more point. That means we beat Russell. He catches us a bit right at the end. We beat Russell. We're now 2 points ahead of Haas in the championship. So that could be big for us. P10.
And I'm not sure there's anyone who enjoys a podium quite like Daniel Ricciardo does.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
And before they get back to work, I think it's time to cool off here in Azerbaijan.
And there we have it. It's 2 Red Bulls on the podium once again, 1 and 3 for Ricciardo and Gasly. Bottas manages to take P2. Great result from all 3 drivers, but from Ricciardo especially to get a win here in Red Bull, back with the team that he got all these wins with, bar one at McLaren. In the past, he wins the race. Great result for him. Another great result for Gasly. He's on a bit of a roll. Unfortunate to not get the win, but he's pulled himself off the bottom of the championship, where he was for quite a large amount of time at the start of this season. And yeah, that point for Sainz, big for us at Williams, that is for sure. The 2 Haas's 11th and 12th, good performances from them, but unfortunately, Sainz is just a little bit better. Unfortunate for Piastri there to not score any points and to DNF very early on, also for Albon, of course. And Sainz is still at the top with that extra point. He's now 33 points ahead of the championship. He's looking quite dominant with 6 rounds left to go. Sainz is looking good at the top of this championship, and Logan Sargent is last despite scoring 2 points and now being level on points with Zhou Guanyu. Sargent is still on countback in 20th position, which will mean that we will get Sargent back in our team for next round. And in the constructors, it is Red Bull pulling away even further at the top, but we get that extra point for 10 points in P7, now 2 points ahead of Haas. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.